Hey everybody, we got another episode of Sports Nutrition with Sean Pitcher, your sports dietitian. Today we're going to talk about specifically electrolytes. If you want to learn about some of the other hydration tips that we've talked about previously, go ahead and go back into my videos to go over some of the basics regarding hydration. When we're talking specifically about electrolytes, the first thing we want to know is, what is it? What does it do? So the four different type of electrolytes that we're specifically talking about are sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. So if you take those four different electrolytes, we're going to break them up in kind of into two parts. Your sodium and your potassium are what specifically help with fluid balance. And then your calcium and magnesium are going to help with that muscle contraction. So one thing I like to do as an activity with the athletes that I work with to get them to understand the calcium and the magnesium is simply put your arm up. If you look over at your bicep, right now my bicep is nice and relaxed. It's not flexed or anything like that. So if my arm went from flexed, this would be calcium's pumping into contract. So calcium contract the muscle. If my bicep ends up relaxing, that means it's magnesium. So calcium is pumping out of the muscle to allow magnesium to come in to help relax the muscle. All right. If we're doing, again, any type of activity, that muscle is going to consistently flex and relax over and over. So we want to make sure that the muscle has those specific minerals or micronutrients to allow it to do it, because it happens at a very fast and rapid pace. So typically you're going to find electrolytes or hear the word electrolytes very commonly in your sports drinks. We're going to go over specifically what drinks to drink at what time during the day or based off your activity in another talk. But if we break those four different electrolytes down, what are common foods we can get them from? Yes, we could drink Gatorade or sports drinks and get them from that. Absolutely. But we also want to supplement that with the foods that we typically eat on a daily basis with our meals and our snacks. So if you look at salt, you can very easily get salt in pretty much any food product that you buy that's going to be packaged or processed, or you can add specifically table salt to your food. You can also get it from any type of nuts, seeds, or nut butters that are salted. Or you're also thinking about different salty snacks, pretzels, baked chips, Cheez-Its, goldfish, crackers, or pickles are other things that come to mind. There's also lots of different companies that have electrolyte supplements, whether it comes in a packet, whether it comes in a container, where it has a certain amount of each of those specific electrolytes in it. The one that you want to pay attention to the most is salt or sodium. Typically, when you are active and you are sweating, the one that's going to be lost the most is salt. A lot of times when you see someone who is a heavy, salty sweater, you might see some residue down by the armpits or down between the thighs or on certain parts of your clothing. And that's the salt coming out of your body from the water releasing, also the heat releasing from that evaporation, trying to get the body temperature down. So that was some examples, some salty foods. If we go to potassium, think of key things like potatoes, tomatoes, bananas, and your dark leafy green vegetables or your citrus fruits. Calcium food options are going to be any green vegetable, specifically broccoli is one, almonds or nuts. And again, the biggest calcium option that we have is going to typically be from your dairy products. If you deal with a lactose intolerant issue, you can also get your calcium from your alternative milk options. And that could be things like almond milk, rice milk, and also soy milk. Now, just know typically your plant-based options that have vitamins and minerals fortified or added to them aren't always going to be as absorbable or going to be, let's say, as high as of a level as the micronutrients you're going to get specifically that's naturally found within the food. So you might have to have a little bit higher or bigger portion of some of those alternative plant-based options to possibly get the amount that your body is going to need during that specified time. Magnesium, some food examples there: nuts, nut butters, so that's things like peanut butter, cashew butter, almond butter, seeds as well, beans, and then greens. So one thing you're going to see across the board, if you're looking specifically at electrolytes, there's some key foods that are similar that have a lot of these nutrients in them or have a lot of these nutrients added to them. One's going to be nuts, one's going to be nut butters, and then you have seeds, and then a lot of your green or dark leafy green vegetables. It may not have every single one of these electrolytes, but you can see a common theme from the foods that I've listed already. They may have 2 or 3, or in some cases may have all of these in that one specific food. So when you're thinking about, all right, I'm going to get electrolytes from probably the sports drinks that I have, can I include those specific 3 or 4 foods that I just listed to try to get these electrolytes in throughout my day, in my meals, in my snacks? So hopefully that gives you a quick, easy breakdown on what the examples of electrolytes are, what are common foods they're found in, and then we're going to kind of advance on going into the importance of electrolytes in sports drinks when we start talking about specifically the certain drinks to have during certain times of day, which also goes into your goals as well. But that big take home message is we need these electrolytes because they help us with that rehydration process. The faster we can rehydrate the body, the more recovered we can be for the next bout of training, whether it's later in the day or the next part of the day, or right, leading into any of our activity. If our body is more hydrated, that allows for better nutrients exchange to the muscles, the organs, the brain. So that way, physically and mentally, we're hopefully feeling the best that we possibly can so we can give out the highest level of effort going into whatever activity, game, or lift that we have to deal with. Signing off for now, and definitely check back on some of those previous videos we talked about. If you're someone that wants to get yourself better regarding to anything with sports nutrition in general, go ahead and click on my link at the bottom in the show notes. I offer a variety of different nutrition services that you can choose from if you're someone that wants to take your game to the next level.